Hello, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Jodi, and this is Word on the Web.
All right, and today I'm excited about today because it's one of my favorite things about what we do, honestly. And the question came from Desiree. Thank you, Desiree. The question has to do with how the Interfaith Sanctuary Homeless Art Collective got started.
Oh, it's such a great question.
It's a great question.
Yeah. And as always, every program that we have is really inspired by a guest. So during a time of disconnection, it was actually right before COVID started, we had a guest who was really just taking on art. He, instead of holding a sign up on the street corner, he actually would paint on the street corner because he realized that people just didn't make eye contact with him or anything. It made him feel really bad. You know, sometimes he'd get money, but at a really high cost to him emotionally.
Yeah.
And so he decided one day to set up an easel and a canvas and paint on the street corner and then sell his paintings. And he set it up enough to where like people knew he was going to be there, and they would drop off paint for him. They would drop off canvas for him, and they started to buy his art. His name was Geoffrey. His art was done with like really interesting techniques. Like he created his own technique of art. And so then one day he came to me and he said, you know, I am feeling so much better about myself because of my art. Like people are now seeing me past my homelessness. And he really wanted to find a way to give that gift to other people in the unhoused population. And so he asked if there would be any way that we could create something where we could connect our unhoused population back to the art that they may be missing. And so we thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
And so we did a call out. And we asked if people could bring art materials to Interfaith Sanctuary, and then we would open up a time during the week where anyone who was either staying with us or part of the homeless community could come and do art.
So all medium types, or how did that? Because he was obviously in paints.
So we started with canvases, paint, and then people would come to us and say, "I really like to crochet. I really like to knit. I do a lot better with pencils on paper." And so like as the people started to come, we developed more and more call outs. And then artists in our community, they're so generous and like they couldn't wait to help. And so like we really could like provide anything these artists needed in a pretty quick way, even like wood and wood burning tools, which was actually a craft of a few of the guests that were staying with us at that time.
Right.
And that is how the Homeless Art Collective began. It was like a community outreach. And slowly but surely you saw the talent. I mean...
Can I say, even before we go into the talent, this is a really, I love the feel. We've seen it a few times here. People dropped off supplies to Geoffrey, supported him, right?
Well, Interfaith Sanctuary. It was under the umbrella, which makes it easier for people actually because like Jeff needed a safe place to create this, because if he had tried to do it out on his own on the streets, there's a trust issue, right? So like I was happy that he came to us and he said, "Will you help me do this?" And he made it part of Interfaith.
Love it.
Yeah.
Shout out, though, to our audience who support us in 101 different ways.
Yeah.
And a whole variety of call-outs, from, deodorant to whatever, to art supplies. Yeah. We just really thank you for your ongoing support. But let's talk more about the art.
Yeah. So, when you imagine who are people in the homeless community, like a lot of times, like it's just, they're addicts. They have mental health issues. Right. They made bad choices. They deserve to be here. You know, like they have no other descriptives. And then like you bring this kind of program to them and they're artists. You know, like you find out all their art. Like the Homeless Art Collective is only one of them. Like Project Sing, the Homeless House Band, like these people are so talented.
Right.
And when you lose your home, you lose everything that made you your entire person. How do you cart around all of your art supplies
Right.
once you've lost your housing? How do you do
you're
those?
separated from the resources that you used to have at your fingertips.
And those things were what helped with your mental health.
Yeah.
That gave you a chance to actually quiet down and feel like you're in a safe space. And so this kind of group, like, it reconnected people to their passion. And when you do that, like, the lights come back on.
Smiles come back. Yeah.
They had so much hope.
Love that.
And, you know, as always, the press does a good job. Like, they find out about these programs because they track our Facebook page. And so the press came out to do stories about the Homeless Art Collective. And then suddenly all these opportunities came their way. Like, people really wanted to support them in this real way. And so, you know, they were invited to do pop-ups where they could sell their art at churches, and, you know, they got to go to the Hyde Park Street Fair.
So around in Boise.
Yeah, and it creates revenue streams for them.
Right, that's where I was going with that. So this was revenue for them, selling their art. How validating, right, is that?
Well,
That's
and I
so
remember,
great.
the first time that we did a pop-up, it was St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Shop on State Street. And everyone knew that they were going to set up this section in their thrift shop, and it was going to be the Homeless Art Collective. Okay. And so they worked for a couple of months, like, creating their inventory. We had, like, water paintings, crochet, dream catchers, jewelry, like, all kinds of stuff. And we went to go load into St. Vincent de Paul. They were so nervous. Like, as they're, like, putting their stuff out and we're setting up their inventory, they're like, wonder if no one wants to buy anything.
Right, putting themselves out there.
And pricing it. Like, I remember having a conversation with one of our jewelry makers, and she was like, how much should I price these earrings for? And I'm like, well, these earrings here that are hanging at St. Vincent de Paul, they're going for $20. And she's like, no one will ever pay $20 for my earrings. And I'm like, why? Your earrings are more beautiful. Like, why? She's like, because I'm homeless. And I'm like, no. And she started to cry. And boy, did she sell a lot of those earrings at $20. Nice. And, you know, this is actually one of her paintings too. Okay. She does painting and she does, but yeah, I mean, there is a total bravery. Each and every time our guest steps out and bravely tries, because they are so sure they're going to be rejected. And when they're not, I mean, it makes our job so much easier, because now we have someone who's full of hope and starts to really look at possibilities. Yeah,
believe in themselves again, and believe in their future, see a future. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and so we've had lots of fun opportunities, and then we did get this, like, random donation. It was like this bag of like 100 501 jeans. And those are vintage, like, they're valuable. Right. And we're like, oh my gosh, what can we do with these jeans? And so, like, we were brainstorming during the Homeless Art Collective, and they're like, oh, we could paint on the jeans. Like, we could put our art on the jeans, and then you could auction them off at, like, one of your events. I'm like, oh,
right, genius.
Oh my God, 501c3 jeans. And it was, like, born that quick. Right. And so then we had the 501c3 jean line, and they painted so much, like, messaging and quotes and flowers, and that's where you came in.
I remember that specifically because it was out at the Idaho Shakespeare Festival venue for one of the events.
Yeah, so they donated Shakespeare to us to do our gala, and we called it Shakespeare in Jeans. Yeah. Because that was the theme, and people could come to the gala in jeans.
Different sizes and jackets.
Jackets
and some baby.
Remember the baby jeans?
Oh, the baby jeans were the best.
Baby jeans were the best. And so, like, fun. You set up the entire auction, and that was the first time ever that our silent auction was 100% made by the guests who were part of the Homeless Art Collective, and we raised some serious money. People loved the stories.
That is so great.
Yeah, so that
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then there's also jewelry. It felt like wasn't there a section there where we also had some jewelry out? Yeah. And you said something, or sometimes you'll talk about that. our guests being part of the solution, their
Yeah.
solution, right?
Yeah.
Which is donating, contributing art in this way,
It means so much to them.
which then brings money for programming, and so it's so great.
Yeah, no,
The circle.
them feeling like they're part of this makes them feel really good, because like it is very difficult to ask for help.
Yeah.
They need our help right now, but if there's a way that they can help us, that is so great for them. And they really, they feel seen and respected. Like, oh, I could be part of helping you do this work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your talent helps us to do our work.
All right, so there was another part to Desiree's question, and that is, how can people be involved and
Yeah.
maybe even continue to support the
Yeah.
art collective?
So it is open to the community. So every Tuesday, the Homeless Art Collective meets from 9:30 to 11.
Okay.
And we have a lot of artists who reach out to us, and they'll come and do like workshops. They'll bring art classes. We have a lot of artists who like might need to get rid of some of their materials.
Surplus, yeah.
And so they'll reach out and they'll donate. So we are always taking donations, and we are always taking artist collaboration. We actually have done, Wendy Blickenstaff came during COVID and did just an incredible collaboration with our guests. She brought her art, and then she actually included them in one of her art shows. It was amazing.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, like anyone who wants to sit and do art, like you might be an artist that is home alone and you feel isolated. This is a really good group.
Yeah.
The things that are revealed when you're sitting together and creating is the beginning of healing for anyone, not
Yeah.
just people who are experiencing homelessness. So it is a welcome and open community.
And artists are typically very giving, they belong to a community. They understand
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
And so, come be part of ours.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So
We'd love to
it.
see you. If you guys want to get involved at all, you can use the Word on the Web Gmail address, and that'll come right to us, and then we can connect you. So, and if anyone wants us to come and do a pop-up and bring art,
Right.
we're always making art. So like we're putting it out there. The Homeless Art Collective is available to do art for you, or even we created the custom 501 jean. Remember that?
Yeah.
If you have a
Yeah.
pair of jeans that you would like to have some art on, so you can adopt a guest and tell them, you come meet with them and you tell them the theme that you want on the jeans, and then you can give them a donation directly to put art on your jeans. And that is such a cool thing.
So great.
I have one of the greatest pair of jeans ever. I'll wear them one day and we'll show them to you, but
Okay.
that's a really fun thing. So if you want to do that as well, you can adopt an artist for your jeans, and you can do that through Word on the Web as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, special thanks to Desiree for your question, and keep more questions coming.
Yeah.
We look forward to it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.